Next time on a very spooky fine dining podcast, the season 1 finale, TGI Fridays the 13th. Oh, you betcha, pineapple's gonna hit the fan as Michael's son Juicy, or in this episode, Juice's son Voorhees, goes on a murderous rampage, and no one is safe. It gets real spooky, it gets real bloody, and not everyone's gonna make it to the end of the episode. Who will live, who will die? Listen to Fine Dining, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America, break down a trip to TGI Fridays based on the atmosphere, the service, and the food, and try not to be scared to death. Hear the thrilling finale of Fine Dining, Wednesday, October 25th, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon, and I'm from the Non-Censored podcast. Yes, that's where I'm really from. Hello and welcome to Non-Censored, the podcast that rounds up the highlights of my very popular and very real radio show. And this week the show is brought to you by men's grooming brand Manscaped. Maybe, Martin, we should have a contest with our listeners to see if they can spot our very subtle sponsored content, eh?
Yes, well, we are subtle about these things, you know. We're much like a public broadcaster. You hardly notice that we're doing adverts sometimes.
Well, we are a public broadcaster.
Oh, yes, of course. That's, yes, of course.
Now, it was quite a week, wasn't it, Martin? We had a lot of wonderful things, and as usual, sadly, we just couldn't fit everything in.
Lots of things that we couldn't fit in, of course. We had a great interview with the head of a private healthcare company about how they can help ease the winter crisis, and
yes.
Thanks to him for stepping in at the last minute, to be honest. We were, of course, supposed to have an interview with the head of an A&E department about it, but they didn't show up, and... Well, eventually we just gave up waiting, didn't we?
Yeah, just typical, if you ask me. I mean, we were also supposed to have an interview booked with a leading newspaper columnist about the upcoming strikes and why they were such a disaster for everyone. But then they said we hadn't paid them for the last time they were on, so they pulled out. I mean, it's ridiculous, Martin.
Well, you know, that's people.
We always pay on time. Well, I mean, I don't organise it, but I'm sure we do.
You know... If the cash isn't in the hand, then the invoice is in the post.
Exactly, or by fax.
It's as good as. An IOU from Non-Censored is as good as money.
Yes, or just a gentleman's handshake. Anyway, we did have time for a lot of other things. First off was, you may have all seen the news about Lady Susan Hussey, that poor woman who was made to resign for being apparently racist. We spoke to veteran Royal-watcher Nicola Witchell, and we really got to the bottom of the whole matter. Nicola Witchell, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Harriet. Thank you very much indeed.
Now, Nicola, obviously you know the royal family very well, and you know everyone who's involved and what goes on. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm just horrified that Lady Susan Hussey has had to resign. Can you tell us a bit about this?
What happened was there was a gathering at the palace, and a lot of people who you wouldn't maybe see around there were incredibly lucky to get an invite. And Lady Susan, who has on record never offended anyone in her life, and she's 83. Offended.
83?
She's 83. She offended someone.
83.
She's 83 for the first time
83.
Offended. At the end of the day, she's 83, and this is her first offence. 83, yes. And all 83. She asked was, where 83. Are you from? I've known people who are 83, and I don't think that asking someone where they're from is a bad question. Well, I've got in taxis before, and the taxi driver says, where are you going, love? And I don't say, how dare
very
you?
Similar.
That's worse as well.
I'm so with you here. I mean, she's 83.
She's 83.
She's 83.
Yes.
She's 83. She's 83.
Yes.
I think we've got to ask ourselves, why are we persecuting this woman for being racist when she's 83?
She's 83. She's not racist,
She's
and
83.
her life is ruined, and she's never offended anyone ever, and she's 83.
83.
83.
She's 83. I just wonder, Nicola, she's 83.
Yes.
What is she going to do now?
Well, she could get another job, of course, but she's 83.
She's 83. She's 83.
People are expecting her to pick up and change her life after doing a very important job of being the lady in waiting. When at 83.
I think people really need to have a long, hard look at themselves. And ask what's important in life. And I think at the end, what's important is that she's 83.
She's 83. What's she going to do now? Answer me that. At 83.
Do you think, obviously this is one line of looking at it, but some people on the wokey left are going, oh, Harry and Meghan were right. Meghan did have to deal with racism. What do you say to that?
The least racist people, family, and institution on the planet are the royals. And that's all I have to say on the matter. They wouldn't employ a racist, not even one that's 83.
No.
So
not even one that's 83.
I think what we're all aware of is that Meghan wanted to sell documentaries and books. And congratulations, Meghan, you've done that. What a sad little life.
Yes. That's the thing, isn't it? It's all very well people going, oh, Meghan was right. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Are you telling me that she suffered racism in the royal family? From what? From 83-year-olds?
From an 83-year-old. An 83-year-old is racist now. Is that the law? Is that something that we're going to be saying?
Is that the world we now live in? Yes, is that what we're saying?
83-year-olds are racist.
What a concept. What a concept.
Yes. I am sickened, and thank you for allowing me to come on here and set the record straight. Royals not racist. Yeah. Meghan awful. 83.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nicola.
You're welcome.
Well, Martin, we had Eshaan Akbar back after his week away.
Absolutely fantastic to hear his voice again with some hot takes on the football.
Yes, and some spicy jokes.
Absolutely, but we're not going to call it the hot and spicy takeaway anymore, are we? So it's just...
yeah, it's very sad, that.
Football chats with Eshaan.
Football chats. Eshaan, welcome back on the show.
Thank you so much. Sorry I wasn't here last week. As you know, I was in some sort of legal wrangling with the Qatari border officials who were questioning my level of straightness to enter the country. But as you well know, I am probably the straightest man on this podcast.
Oh, dear. Well, dear.
It's not a competition, is it? I don't think it's...
Yeah, it is. I'm very straight. I haven't even looked at my own penis in 15 years.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, Eshaan, as our senior football correspondent, tell us, what is your take on everything this week? Because you always have a little take.
Well, look, I've had a tremendously wonderful time here in Qatar. Everyone is so friendly. All the men are together, dancing, holding hands, celebrating.
In a straight way.
This very wonderful festival of football, and there have been some wonderful surprises. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, some big surprises. But the Iran football team caused a bit of controversy. Well, maybe not the Iran football team itself, but a certain Jurgen Klinsmann, former Germany and Tottenham Hotspur striker, who, of course, is famous for his celebration, the Klinsmann dive, where you kind of score a goal, run, and then dive into the ground like a Superman.
Yes, jump and dive. We've seen that.
Extraordinary.
It's common.
Well, I don't think I've seen that in football. I've seen that in, more intimate.
A slip and slide type situation.
Yes, exactly. A little slip and slide. So Jurgen Klinsmann is a pundit, and he was covering the Iran game, and he mentioned that Iran, who have quite a, shall we say, feisty approach to the game, the odd tackle here, the odd elbow here, trying to bend the rules a bit, trying to push the envelope of what's acceptable on the football pitch. Jurgen Klinsmann said that this is their culture, and this is the way they behave in a slightly barbaric, backward way. I mean, he did say barbaric, backward way. So there's been a lot of controversy about whether or not Jurgen Klinsmann was being incredibly offensive about Iranian people. And my hot and spicy takeaway is this. Of course he isn't. Of course he's not being offensive, for goodness sake. And everyone just calm down. Iranians are famous for being rough and brutish.
Are they?
On the football pitch. And, you know, they are embracing a sort of football culture that exists in South America, where they cheat quite a bit.
Oh.
And it just so happens that they do the cheating, and it reflects, you know, their political environment too.
I've got to say, Eshaan, it does feel like a bit of a crass generalization to equate someone's nationality to barbarism or cheating behaviour, whether it's on the sports field or not.
Well, no, because of course you play the sport the way your country behaves.
So the general idea of what people are like based on their nationality is reflected in how they play. Is that what you've witnessed at the World Cup?
You cannot name me one European country that plays in this kind of barbaric, backward way.
What about Spain?
Well, no, the Spanish are the darkest of the whites, aren't they?
Ooh, I don't know if that's...
If you think about it.
I'm not sure how that sits with me. What are we saying this?
Have a siesta.
I feel a bit nervous bringing up any cultural identities, to be honest.
Sorry, but Martin, did you just hear what Eshaan said? Yeah. He just said, have a siesta.
I've just got to the point where I start to get...
I just didn't want
I get nervous when we even name Martin, countries, to be honest.
Your opinions paella into insignificance.
That was not good.
Oh dear. I mean, I haven't understood anything that's gone on in this conversation so far, but I do understand that and I like it.
Thank you. Fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is what Jurgen Klinsmann said was not offensive. It is true that certain countries play football in a way that reflects who they are as a people. And who they are as a people, we can glean from the way their governments behave. And in this Festival of Football World Cup, we've seen all the various diversity of the world in the way they play football. And there is nothing wrong with saying that this is their culture, because it is.
So you mentioned sort of it reflects their governments as well. If in 2 years we get a Labour government, will our football team become all sort of wobbly-legged and dithery?
Yeah, quite possibly, just kind of slipping and sliding. And just, you know, everybody would be on the left wing. You could expose us down the right wing. Is it open?
I have a question, Eshaan.
I mean, it's a serious topic. It's funny. It's a serious topic.
Do you think the same could be said in reverse? That if a football team, as the English football team has been accused of, goes a little woke, does lurch to the left, is that likely to be a signifier for their incoming government?
Yes, absolutely. As they get more and more woke, it could mean that there is an impact on British government, and we end up getting one of these wokey governments where everybody, you know, takes the knee every morning.
Oh God!
I don't think anyone.
Which, as a football strategy, doesn't really work. Because we should just head the ball over their head. Not a problem.
That's where we could head, though. I mean, if the woke left take over, we could be doing that. We could be getting down on our knees all the time.
Favourite thing about Qatar?
The favourite thing about Qatar is the camaraderie amongst all the men. It's wonderful. They have these fan villages and only men are allowed, and all the men are together, and we're just singing and dancing and high-fiving and celebrating the games. And, you know, there's a real carnival atmosphere carnival and carnal. And it's hot. Lovely,
nice.
Hot.
That's the thing, isn't it? I know, obviously, it's very bad that they are anti-LGBTQ plus AE. But what is nice is you do have this return of the sort of heterosexual men doing men things, like dancing and sweating together and, just
it was stupendous. In the opening ceremony, they had this topless man playing the drums, and he was
my goodness,
and his pecs were out, and we were all like, "Oh, this is good straight man behavior, good alpha stuff. I like it. This is good. I'm connecting with my inner man. I'm going inside my man once again.
Just wonderful, just wonderful." That's what I think. But I mean, I don't understand football, but maybe that is what football's all about.
That is what football is all about. Balls.
Maybe we should have our own little, a little non-censored football team. We could do a little, get some people on, play, have a kick around, down the park, hang out as friends. Just,
I'm busy most nights.
Harriet, you've ever wanted to?
I don't play football,
best.
Martin.
Just to have a kick around in the back garden on my own, if anything.
Absolutely frightful idea. I don't know why you even suggest that.
Dog.
It's horrible. Oh, God, especially if your dog is coming. No. Ugh. Horrible.
Fair enough.
Now, Martin, I sent you an early Christmas present, didn't I?
Well, you did indeed. I was very surprised and very happy to receive it, to be honest. It was the, you say a gift, a present. It was from our sponsors, wasn't it? Well, I mean, it was the Manscaped gift box.
Yes, still a gift, Martin. I still gave it to you. I could have given it to Jonathan.
Yeah, no, and I appreciated it. I just don't think you actually spent any money on it, but not a problem at all.
Well, it's never too early to play holiday music, and it's never too early to start thinking about gifts, is it, Martin? And I just thought I'd make this a season to be jolly for you with Manscaped. And our listeners can look nice when they get naughty by going to manscaped.com and use the code SNOWFLAKES for free shipping and 20% off. What did you think of it, Martin?
Well, I was impressed by it. Actually, you very kindly provided me with the platinum package.
That's right.
Each product from the best-selling performance package, plus ultra premium body wash, ultra premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, and ultra premium deodorant. I've got to say, I smelt better than my dogs. And I wash my dogs every day, and they do have a lovely scent. So it's a very nice thing to be able to say about my own.
Well, Martin, it really is the best way to smell fresh, from your Santa hat to your candy cane. If you see what I'm saying.
Well, I wouldn't call it that. But yes, no, I did smell very nice. Also, the Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature. They've got their advanced skin safe technology. So I felt very safe using it, and I'm very happy to have received my Christmas present. Thank you.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SNOWFLAKES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code SNOWFLAKES. Manscaped. Get your jingle ball... Sorry. Manscaped. Get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Now, we were all, I think, shocked by the news this week that Britain is no longer a majority Christian country. I mean, just shocking. Now, you don't talk about this often, Martin, but you are quite religious, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I certainly do. There's a group that meets up on Thursday evenings where people are just very nice to me, and there's sandwiches, and we talk about, any problems that you might be going through at work or in your own personal lives. It's just it's just nice people being nice. And then they say some prayers, and then we go home.
Well, we spoke to commentator and ordained minister Gerry Berrie about this whole hullabaloo. Today I am joined by Gerry Berrie of the very, very Free Church of England. He is an ordained minister there. He's also, of course, a prominent commentator on all sorts of social issues. Gerry, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. Always good to get just someone intelligent like yourself who's also a fan. It's just great. It's just great.
Thank you so much.
Why are people abandoning the church?
There's nothing, the wokeism means there's nothing in it for them anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
It used to be you come to the church and you're doing Christian things.
Yeah.
And now they're staying out on a Saturday night. They're watching Netflix, Rakuten.
Oh, my goodness.
Disney Pluses. And it's full of devilish things, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then they're asleep in time for the church. And the ministers and all of the people in the church, they're not saying the right things anymore. It used to be Christ is the best, Christ is the one, etc., etc. Now it's all, I've seen on Facebook that all the preachers, they're all talking about, the sugar babes.
Oh, goodness. No, sugar babes, sorry. Not in a place of worship. Not in a place of worship.
Absolutely not.
I mean, there's a lot of sugar babes as well.
There's been about 400 sugar babes and only one Christ.
I believe before you started at the very, very Free Church of England, you wanted to join the regular Church of England, but I don't think they'd have you, would they?
They wouldn't.
No.
They wouldn't. And this is the thing. They've cancelled me. Everywhere I go, I'm getting cancelled for my views. And I'm proud of that now, I have to say.
Really?
But yeah, I called up, tried to become a priest at the main church.
Yeah.
No responses.
Wow.
They said our books are full.
Oh, my goodness.
And I know why. I think they've seen my tweets. Let's leave that there.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, I think.
That's the problem, isn't it? That with the wokey Church of England, they can't keep off Twitter.
That's the problem with the wokes. It's all manner of problems these days, honestly. They're letting all manner of people into the church.
Yeah.
Before, it used to just be me allowed in the church.
Right.
Do you know the sort of characters they're letting in now?
No.
Do you know the Gunnosaurus?
What's the Gunnosaurus?
Gunnosaurus is the mascot of Arsenal Football Club.
Sorry, what?
I've seen on Facebook that they let him into a church, and let me tell you, he's not a Christian.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a green dinosaur.
That's disgusting.
It's awful.
That is a bastardization, I'm sorry, of the church.
Excuse my language, that's a bastardization.
Exactly.
Of the church.
Exactly. I'm so sorry. I mean, you're just watching your beloved religion go down the toilet.
They've virtual signaled it. That's what they do now. It's the liberal elites have done this. They have. Guardian readers.
Guardian readers especially, I think, are a really dangerous breed. People don't understand. People think they're sort of harmless because they've got a TV section. But no, they're not. They're not.
Absolutely not. They're promoting these things in church now, which we would never. And this is why I'm in the Free Church of England, because we do not promote anything.
Yeah.
Young people are going to church now. They're learning watch E4. And this is not the way. They're learning, wear clothes from a boohoo man.
No.
That's absolutely wrong.
No, that's just dreadful.
Very scary times. I look around Tesco. I look around the post office. I see no Christians.
Oh, my goodness.
I think.
Yeah.
I've gone into the post office. I've said, there's a cashier number 1, please. I've said, raise your hands. Who's Christian?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not one.
Nothing. And there was more than 4 people.
No.
Sorry if that doesn't fit the liberal elite way of thinking.
We're all about, on this program, we are all about sort of radical ways of thinking and just free speech, just saying the truth. And that is what people are afraid of now. They're afraid of the truth and they're afraid of Christianity. And as established, I'm not talking about the new wokey Christianity with Richard Coles. I'm talking about the very, very Free Church of England.
Richard Coles is a grass.
Is he?
You look at what he's talking about on his tweets, and he's saying you shouldn't be doing this, we should be doing that. The man is a grass, pure and simple. Guy Ritchie wouldn't have it.
No.
And he's a Christian.
No. That's the thing, isn't it?
He should have the Richard Coles position, Guy Ritchie.
Do you think you could recruit Guy Ritchie to your church?
We've been emailing.
Oh, wonderful. I imagine most people are fed up with this woke sugar babes loving church. How many of these people are you finding are coming to join your church as a result?
I've set up a YouTube channel. A video about the church has had 7 views in 3 months. That hasn't yet translated to that many people coming. There is interest. I stop people in the street. I hand them a piece of paper that the printer wasn't working, so I've written it out.
Okay.
And those have been taken by over 20 people. So it is growing, and they are scared.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's all about growing it. I mean, 7 people may not seem like a lot, but let's not forget that Jesus had 7 disciples.
Exactly.
So, Gerry, how do you see the future of the church? Will Britain remain a Christian nation?
I'm very sorry to say that back in, I believe it was early 2000s or late 90s, everyone would remember, Christian or not, and that's the first time I'll say it. Yeah. A man came to everyone's house and did something to the TV, and we had Channel 5 for the first time. Now, unfortunately, I see a woke man coming, whether it's one of the many Eamon Holmes, but one of these, one of and they're removing Christianity in the same way that they once installed Channel 5.
Oh, right.
And I don't think, if we don't act now and people don't join this church now, the Free Church of England, then I think, unfortunately, it's very much going to go that way.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I wish you all the best. Keep fighting the good fight and recruiting more people.
Thank you. Love your show.
Thanks, Gerry Berrie. Now, our interview this week was with Peter Jukes, who is an English author, screenwriter, playwright, literary critic and journalist. He's also co-founder and executive editor of Byline Times. Very, very interesting chat, wasn't it, Martin? Went in lots of different directions.
Absolutely. I loved having the opportunity. He was very supportive about my own creative offerings. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we end up collaborating at some point in the future.
I mean, don't take this the wrong way, Martin, but I am very suspicious of anyone who's supportive of anything you do.
Well, he did give me his Twitter handle and hinted very strongly who his agent was. So, I think that says all it needs to say right there.
No, that's right, actually. Peter, hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, Harriet.
Absolute pleasure to have you on. I mean, so much I want to talk to you about. I guess what I want to start by asking is, I see the need for a conservative alternative to, the woke, lamestream media. But what on earth made you think we needed the Byline Times?
Well, I thought we really needed a conspiracy site full of kind of false news like InfoWars about Tory scandals, which obviously didn't happen, about PPE, lies about, the right-wing press accepting bungs from the government and giving them a good coverage during lockdown. So really, it's a money-making venture, and that's why I'm speaking to you from my apartment in Mustique. Because what we realize is the left really love to take down conservatives, even on the basis of, false facts.
Yes.
So you should feed them this stuff and they believe it. It's incredible. Really.
So you admit it, it's basically a hotbed for conspiracy theories, because you've come up with some crazy things in the past about Brexit.
Brexit not working. People believe it's not working. It's amazing. Amazing what people believe, It's obviously, the world is so much better, I think, Harriet. And, I can feel it. The sun's shining. It's a nice feeling because everything seems to be going back to the 1970s. We've got sort of strikes for food. And a little bit of the 90s, well, there's sleaze. I think it's good that, conservatism should conserve the past, especially, getting back to where we were. We had this great status in the 70s as the sick man of Europe. And here we are again. And everybody loves a sick person, don't they? You get nurses coming, you get Lucozade, and in movies, the English patient, great, because if you get burned, right? You remember the English Patient, right?
Yes, I remember the English Patient. Yeah, wonderful film.
All the chicks go for the English Patient. So I think that what Brexit has done is shown Britain in its true colours. And look how clear the skies are now. I'm sure that never happened under the state.
Peter, I don't know if I quite like this line that you're going down, because I feel like you might be mocking us. And I don't like it because, yes, I mean, it is sunnier. I'm looking outside and it's a sunny October morning thanks to the wonderful climate change, which is actually really helping the weather. But that's by the by. The point is, we're not the sick man of Europe. We're the little plucky underdog, you know? We're not the English patient when he was covered in bandages. We're when he's banging Colin Firth's wife. That's the analogy, really, we should be going with if we're talking about the English patient.
Yeah, I think the other great thing is, you know, we have this long tradition of alliance with Russia. You know, we had obviously with Stalin in World War II. There were alliances in the 19th century. We did fight them a bit over the Crimea, I think, but that was a mistake. We are now joining them at the bottom of the OECD G7 growth. And I think what we're doing is showing there is another way. You know, what is growth? What is wealth? I mean, British values weren't all about money, and you know they were about things like the flag and scones and matrons cycling through the mist. I just think we talk too much about money, and what Brexit gives you, it might make us poorer, but we breathe that free air you're talking about. It's that free air, and obviously, when you go right to the bottom, we've got further to go. Then you can only bounce back.
That is true.
The other thing that people forget is what a service we've done the world. That's not unlike Nigel Farage. It wasn't quite like World War II. They're the White Cliffs of Dover, and there's all these invaders, of course, but they're asylum seekers on boats, and they don't really have like Luftwaffe behind them or anything like that. But what we did for Europe by leaving the EU was to show to the rest of Europe only Britain could do it. Nobody else wants to leave the EU anymore. Right-wing parties across Europe go, we're going to do our Frexit or Grexit or Durexit or, I don't know, Finexit. I don't know, Finland's member. But now nobody does that. And I feel that in that way, we set an example that others now look at, and that guides their future.
So if that's what you believe in, I'm inclined to believe you, because that is the sensible viewpoint, isn't it? That actually Brexit's been great for the UK and we have taken back control and we're going to be fine. As you say, we're going down, but we're going to bounce back up and then it's going to be better than ever before. So are you, by that admission, saying that your work is you're really just pandering to left-wing fears with conspiracies?
No, I think what I'd say is, on a serious note, is that Brexit is very good for Remainers. I mean, it is one of those culture wars that's happened, to me, has clarified, in a more sensible note, dropping the guise of being a right-wing Guido Fawkes, putting up a left-wing side. The thing about Brexit is it just proved that everything that was wrong, Harriet, the House of Lords, the idea of, you know, good chaps government, that you can trust Boris Johnson because he's a good chap and he surely won't be quaffing it while the Queen's husband is having his funeral. All the sclerosis in our society, all the many things, was revealed to be creaking and sclerotic and not fit for purpose by Brexit. And in a way, something even worse could have happened. And if it leads to major reform and constitutional change in our country, in an odd way, it isn't the worst thing. And it would have always happened. Something like this would always happen because we were exceptionists, lazy, arrogant, thought we were the centre of the world. Yeah, sorry?
No, we were. You're forgetting about the empire. I mean, we were very important.
Yeah, we were 100 years ago.
We won the Second World War.
And the World Cup in 1966.
Thank you.
Peter, I've got producer Martin here. I've just got to say I'm very relieved to see that you dropped the facade there. I was you know, I'm a simple man with simple needs. And at first I thought perhaps I'd accidentally booked a right winger and I was a little scared. But now I see you're on the side of common sense and decency. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this will go.
I mean, I did try to be a right winger for a while, but I don't know how do you find it? It's really difficult to be that stupid for so long. As what it comes to Brexit,
Peter,
and, you know, to lie to you. Sorry.
There's nothing stupid about being right wing. Hello, I mean, I think the fact that the right have been in power for so long shows you that we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it hasn't gone so well, and the polls aren't going well, and the economy's doing badly.
But look, people make up polls.
But Harriet, sorry, I shouldn't say right wing. I should say something else, which is lying. So, and the left could do that too. I'm sure, it does in places like Venezuela and did under communism. But just misrepresenting things, Harriet. I mean, I went, the sun's shining. You were a bit cagey about that, but obviously it's shining. But every factual thing tells you the Conservative government we have is full of cronies, out for jobs for the mates. They plundered the country and impoverished us. Now, you could say, as a gloriously eloquent person from the right,
thank you,
with at least 2 surnames, you could say, yes, it's not working. You could say, oh, they've got it wrong, but I believe in Mark Littlewood's agenda, or at least acknowledge it's not going well, Harriet.
Peter, can I throw out a theory about you?
Yeah.
With all this talk about, oh, it's not going well. Oh, you're the poor sick man of Europe. You started your career, I believe, as a TV writer of detective fiction and thriller. And I think it slightly got to your head. I think you're reenacting the things you used to write, a bit like Sharon Stone did in Basic Instinct.
Well,
and as a result, you're seeing all these kind of conspiracy and bad things happening, when actually we're doing a good job. We're doing a good job.
The funny thing about writing fiction, I saw this in stage before TV, is that it's like cooking desserts. For being a chef who only cooks desserts, then you get home, you're desperate for some meat. Actually means that you get a good sense of what's real and the difference between the narratives we want to tell ourselves, the great sunlit uplands. And you're right, some people get too much into everything's wrong. I certainly. Some of my best friends are conservatives, Harriet, that we tend to talk about politics. Yeah. I don't discriminate. But obviously the human mindset looks at these patterns, and I get people saying now who ignored it 4 years ago, the Russian interference, going, oh, this is all Putin's doing. It's not. A lot is chaotic. But the good thing about drama is I used to do a lot of research. I used to go out undercover cops and things like that, is that you do get to understand the kind of default narratives, cliches people fall into. And that happens on the left and right. And obviously the Brexit cliche has become, it just is an old story, sunlit uplands, that freedom. And I think, as a poll on Byline Times proved, people have got bored with this series. They want another show.
Peter, if you don't mind me jumping in, I was doing a little research into you, and I was inspired to read of your wildly successful and eclectic writing career across TV and radio and theatre. And I myself am a bit of a budding writer. My wife Jane is really the talent.
You've got a script.
I have some ideas, Peter, and I was hoping maybe you could give me a little pointer. I just have 3 ideas here, and I was wondering maybe if you could just tell me which one you think has the most legs, as it were.
I love a pitch session, and I'd love to hear them. I'll preface that by saying that, I remember a classic line about it. You talk to another writer, and you go to them, are you busy? And they go, well, I've got 3 script ideas I'm going to pitch, and I'm working on a podcast and working on my first novel. And you reply, me neither. I'm not busy either. So, but on that line, Martin, why don't you pitch ahead and let's do a creative workshop?
Well, I think they're quite good. I'll just give you a brief outline, and then you can tell me. Okay, here's the first one. Okay, so it's a film script, and it's called Bad Monks. Okay.
Bad monks, yeah.
Yeah. So it follows a group of these 3 sort of unconventional monks that are just trying to get by in, I'm not sure what of the time period, maybe 12th to 16th century England.
Before Black Death. Don't go to Black Death, because that's kind of, that's season 5.
Well, there could well be spin-offs. On this journey, they're kind of a sort of 3 Musketeers type group. and they have to go to the Vatican to collect some holy wine. And on the way, they meet Leonardo da Vinci, and they accidentally give him all of the ideas for his famous inventions. I thought that would be
brilliant, Martin.
It's such a relief to hear that. Thank you, Peter.
It's got pace. It's got sort of three Chicos. Well, hasn't it? You can imagine Steve Martin being one of the monks.
Yes.
You can have a bit of a name of the rose in there, some cryptic message in the hills, and they find the Grail, and maybe they come across John Cleese as a knight, and they cut off his leg. You could have comedy in that. I think it's great.
Well,
casting. I mean, yes. I think it could be set in space, by the way, and they could be Buddhist monks.
Buddhist monks,
and I think they should be nuns, actually.
Okay, this has changed quite a lot.
Set it in the future.
This is on Mars, almost the opposite of what I'm saying. But
no. I mean, this is what.
Yes, we're pitching. Yes, okay.
Around. Is there a role for Kanye West in this?
I could certainly think about it. I can see how it is.
Has he ever acted, Kanye West? Because I bet he would be good as that. I think. I mean, I'm just saying I'd like to see something with Kanye in it.
I mean, he could be kind of a lord of a planet if you do it in space, as I'm suggesting.
Oh, yes.
But I'm just thinking it's in the news, might get some bums on seats. You see, the thing is, producers like people's names in the news.
Okay.
So that helps funding, especially in Hollywood.
I went to see...
You've got to move it around. What if they're dead? What if they're actually dead?
So they're zombie monks.
So you don't know if they're zombies or ghosts, right? They come back in space. So you get it, you flash back, like Godfather 2, right? You flash back to the 13th century or 12th century. And you don't know why they're here. You're seeing them in space. And then you have the backstory.
Peter, I've got to say there's a lot of great ideas bouncing around the room here. Is this what it was like in the Waking the Dead?
No, I think I'm being kind compared to that.
Okay.
You didn't have Trevor Reed coming along and changing every line. So the worst one was, before it became a soap, I wrote for Holby City an episode. They asked me to come back. This is my long, slow departure from drama. And they said, wait, no. I said, I can't, Mike. It's a soap now. I'm never going to have any say. And they said, no, it's going to be a standalone episode. You can set it abroad. You can do whatever you like. And so I wrote it, and it stopped being a standalone episode. They completely changed it. I took my name off it.
Did they put it in space?
I would have had fun. It was in Elstree. That counts as space.
Yes.
But I now describe British drama at the soap end. I wrote, one of the reasons I stopped writing drama is I read a big piece in Prospect criticising this whole process, that it's a machine to crush out all the invention of writers, so they become blandified into this product. But come on, Martin, you've got two more ideas. That one, let's park that hold. This might be something Spielberg's interested in, if it's available. But what are the other two? Come on, pitch it. We're in an elevator.
Maybe keep them short, Martin.
Fine. This is a similar... It starts off on a similar tact, but it's got a different anatomy. That's what you have to remember about this pitch. So, and I didn't want to work on too many different working titles, so I have just called it...
Lift door is closing. Lift door is opening. It's closing.
It's Bad Monks 2. Okay, Boys in the Hood. So this is... They go...
Hood. I love the joke.
Exactly. And what they do is they retrieve some holy scriptures from a gang of brigands...
Third one.
Three monks, one cup. They're in search for the Holy Grail, and all the knights of the Round Table are in that one.
Yeah. I had that with the Monty Python thing.
Okay.
I think your best format for this, right? Because it is all about formats, and movies are very expensive to make.
Yeah.
The writer's budget is one tiny fraction, and then you get to television. It's a bigger fraction, not quite expensive to make, but writer's still down the pile. And then you get to stage where the actors probably take more money than the writer. I've worked in all these formats. But I think the best format for you, whether you have real power as a writer, where these three ideas can blossom and sort of express themselves to the public, is in a haiku.
In a haiku. It's a bit shorter than I was thinking it would.
Less is more. Minimalism is beautiful.
Yes. No,
and
that's
that
true.
way you can put it on Twitter. It'll probably fit on a tweet, right?
He's only got about 3 followers, Peter. Who would read it?
Maybe if I sign up to Twitter Blue, that'll add a bit more legitimacy to my poetry.
You could spray it on walls. A haiku like that, just a Banksy.
I don't think we should give Martin any ideas about.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to take all of your ideas and I'm going to try and work on them, and I'll hopefully come back to you with some poetry. I'll tweet you.
Give me the haiku, and then we can change that too. There's my favourite line by Sam Goldwyn is, "Great, the script's arrived. Now we've got something to change." So I'm looking forward to your haiku, so we can change it.
Peter, we must let you go. I just really wanted to ask one more thing. You wrote a book called The Fall of the House of Murdoch in 2012. 10 years on, he's still around, thank goodness. So do you feel that you went a bit too soon with that?
Maybe. Actually, if you read the book, which you clearly haven't, Harriet, but it's quite long and the print's quite small, it was about the fall of its moral fall. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing persistence of survival. I'd say the house has fallen. The whole point was that none of his children were going to be quite as ruthless or as vindictive as Rupert. And this is a man who hates monarchy, creating a dynasty, a man who says he's for free markets, creating a monopoly. As we've seen from a television show, which may or not be inspired by the Murdoch dynasty, that succession is a huge problem. Will it survive? He's not immortal. I'm afraid to tell you this, Harriet. He's not immortal.
Well, I don't know. He looks like he might be.
Well, he looks like, I won't say what he looks like. He's going on a long time, and his mother lived to 101 or something, but that's still mortal. I think it's not quite eternity. So I think I probably underestimated the resilience. And I see this pure shamelessness of reappointing Rebecca Brooks, who has found not guilty of phone hacking herself or bribing cops, but ran an organization she's editor of where the deputy editor and all the senior staff were hacking. So one of the most incompetent editors we had. So I underestimated the shamelessness of Murdoch, but I don't think I'm alone on that.
Peter Jukes, thank you very much. You've been very, very interesting, and thank you for harbouring Martin's career ambitions.
I feel inspired.
Good. Keep it going, Martin. I mean, one day you'll get to people, and the main thing is you'll speak your own mind.
Well, that was the show, wasn't it, Martin?
Over so soon.
Over so soon. Please do like and subscribe and review and all those things that help bring more people to the non-censored family.
Absolutely. 5 stars, if you don't mind. And why not use some nice complimentary language, such as amazing, lovely, very good, or indeed effervescent.
Yes, all those words. With thanks to Rosie Holt, Brendan Murphy, Eshaan Akbar, Suze Kempner, Bilal Zafar, Ed Morrish, and Peter Jukes, and of course, our sponsors, Manscaped. We'll be back next week for some more non-censored.